Cedar Park is one of Austin's most sought-after suburbs, and its rapid population growth is a clear indicator of its desirability. Today we're diving into the Lakeline area, which is located right at the south entrance of Cedar Park, and with its strategic location, affordable housing, and top-tier schools, you might wonder, where's the catch? In this video, I'll rank Lakeline based on my three main criteria to uncover just that. Stay tuned. As you can see, the Lakeline area is located between the Cypress Creek Road on the north side, 620 on the south side, and then we have the 183 on the east and Anderson Mill Road on the west. Inside this area, you have several neighborhoods. Anderson and Cypress Mill are a bit closer apart compared to Riviera Springs and Shenandoah that are on larger lots with older homes. So let's start our ranking, starting with convenience, and inside convenience, shopping and restaurants. As always, I would like to remind you that these rankings are a bit subjective in nature, and for the perfect ranking, there is nothing like a consultation, so feel free to reach out to me and consult before you are committing yourself to a specific neighborhood. Inside the neighborhoods, we have the Lakeline Village, but on the edge, we have the main Lakeline Mall. The Lakeline Mall is comprised from a big mall and also an open area, and you have farmers market over the weekend, and you have a variety of stores and restaurants to frequent there. You also have a various of small shops around the 620 road. You have some other shops in the Cypress Creek Road, so you are located in the center and you are surrounded by many different type of venues that you can frequent. So with regards to my favorites in the area, I would say that Ramen Tetsuya, definitely one of the best places to visit if you like ramen. First Watch is another favorite of mine, even though it's a chain, still you have a lot of variety to check out. They are closing around 2 p.m. I think, but you have great breakfast there if you are into this type of things. And if you're looking for Thai cuisine, check out Lemongrass. They're kind of cool. With regards to groceries, you pretty much have most of them. You have H-E-B and H-E-B Plus, you have Randall's, Sprouts, and even H-Mart is relatively close by. By the way, H-Mart is one of my local favorites. Other than just the supermarket, you also have a nice food court with a variety of Asian cuisine. The one thing that we're missing here in Cedar Park is Trader Joe's. Where are you guys?
We want you here.
So accounting for all of these places that you have with relatively close proximity, I would rank it a 5 out of 6. Super convenient, but it's not downtown. Moving on to transportation, and I'll start with public transportation, and you know what I'm going to say, Austin is not the best with public transportation, but Cedar Park and the Lakeline area is relatively okay-ish because you do have the train that goes through Lakeline. You do have several bus lines, I'm going to put them here. I remind you that Austin is it's not the greatest in public transportation, generally speaking. So the main roads for this area is the 620 and the 183. The 183 is the main road you're going to use if you're going to drive south towards downtown or the Domain, while 620 will connect you with the eastern suburbs and the western suburbs. If you want to drive north, you can go over the 183 and reach to Whitestone or Leander or one of your friends there. Because this area is not super large, you can get into these roads with relative ease and you're not going to encounter too much traffic. So with all of that in mind, I'm going to rank it 4 out of 6. Moving on to hub proximity, how far are we from the main hub? So from downtown, we are about 25 to 30 minutes of driving distance, and from the Domain, we're about 15 minutes of driving distance. And if you're trying to get there during rush hour, you need to multiply this figure by about 2x. There's another big hub being built on Whitestone. We're still a bit far from that. And if you want to drive to the airport, it's going to take you something like 30 minutes. So with all of that in mind, I'm going to rank it 4 out of 6. Alright, moving on to surroundings and starting with the schools. And the schools in this area are definitely one of the main drivers for the market because you do have top school choices. So between Cypress Creek, Pauline Newman, Deer Creek, and Westside Elementary, you do have a variety of top elementary schools in the public system. Cedar Park Middle School is tiny bit more mediocre, but Cedar Park High and Westwood are considered to be great schools in the area, so you do have some private choices, but I think with this variety of top schools, you don't really need to go there. With regards to daycare, there are many excellent daycares in the area, but generally speaking, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 6. Moving on to parks and greenery, and one of the main drivers for this area with regards to that is the Lakeline Park. So a couple of years ago, they rezoned an area a bit north to Lakeline, north of Riviera Springs. You can actually connect through the neighborhood, and you have a lake there, and you have a bunch of green areas there, fishing pier, pavilions of various size, and a flex area that can be utilized for many purposes. And I do think that in the future we're going to see some shows and some concerts there. I personally own a B&B in Riviera Springs just because of this park alone. That's why I bought it, and it has been proving itself for sure, having a very nice occupancy rate of about 80%. And one place I want to mention is the Twin Lakes Park. If you go there, there is a long trail that goes all the way to Brushy Creek. I go there frequently. You can just walk for miles within trees, just a lot of shadow. It's a really nice place, and you should check it out. So with all of that in mind, I'm going to rank it 4 out of 6, and honestly, it was bordering a 5. I wasn't sure what to do there. Moving on to community and crime, and as you can see on the graph here, Cedar Park has been growing rapidly year over year. Williamson County for 2023 is ranked number 5 in the US by census.gov for internal growth. So while in the 90s we had only about like 10,000 people here, today we have almost 80,000. So 8x, that's relatively a large growth. The median age in Cedar Park right now is about 37, and you have a lot of young families. So if you're into that type of thing, if you're within this cohort, I think this is a place you should definitely consider. With regards to crime, there isn't too much crime in Cedar Park, and if you look at the map, you're going to see it's very green. But if we're circling back to community, most of the neighborhoods don't really have an HOA. They don't really have this type of community building artifacts, so this is something you should consider. And when I factor all of that in, I'm going to rank it 4 out of 6. These educational videos take us so long to produce, so if you'd like, you can leave us a like as a token of appreciation. It really helps a lot. Moving on to real estate, starting with affordability. And this is one of the main driver of this neighborhood, at least for me, because I think it's very affordable compared to what you're getting in return. We're looking at properties that are sized between 1,200 to 3,000, maybe 3,500 square feet. Most of them are going to be in the 15 to 2,500 square feet range, and they're going to be placed on lots that aren't really small because they're older properties. So we're seeing lots between 0.15 to 0.25 acres. And if you want larger lots, check out Riviera Springs, check out Shenandoah. You have larger lots there, but they are a bit older in nature as well. So consider the trade-off and decide what is best for you. From the numbers perspective, for 2024 Q1, I'm seeing an average price per square feet of $264. The average sales price is about $550, but you can get into the neighborhoods around the 400 grand mark while still not compromising on the schools and the greenery. So when I account for all of that, I'm going to rank it 5 out of 6 for affordability. Moving on to scarcity, most of the neighborhood was built around the 1980s up until 2000 to 2010 at the most, and there aren't many land reserves. There's no more place to develop. The lots of the properties are not huge, but they are larger. But then on the other hand, you don't have luxurious properties sitting on acreage and those type of things. Counting for all of that, I'm going to rank it 4 out of 6. Moving on to density, and it's kind of a tricky question because several areas of this neighborhood are not very dense like Riviera and Shenandoah, but if you're looking at Anderson or Cypress, they are a bit more dense in nature. You have houses that sit closer to one another, and the properties themselves are smaller in nature. You don't have like large properties. So with all of that in mind, I'm going to rank it 3 out of 6. Last but not least, character. And I always struggle with the character thing because I feel it's so subjective in nature. A lot of these parameters are subjective, but this one is the most subjective. When I look at character, I'm trying to figure out, when I drive through the neighborhood, does it feel special? Does it have like an X factor? And again, with this Lakeline situation, because I'm taking a couple of neighborhoods that differ from one another, it feels a bit awkward. I'm going to rank it 3 out of 6. It doesn't have tons of character. It's not super bad, it's just meh, I don't know. And please leave me a comment if you don't agree with it, because I would like to hear your opinion. I do want to mention that these neighborhoods are super family friendly, and I do appreciate them a lot. Total score is 41 out of 60, place it relatively in the middle. It's a good neighborhood, but it doesn't overly shine on anything. We're going to put this area and compare it to others, and to sum it up, I will say that for me, the Lakeline area is just terrific value for money when we look at what are we getting for the price that we're putting in. We're not getting something super special and unique, but we're just getting a good home in a great neighborhood. That's why I live close by, own a property here, and have many friends in this area. Having said that, it is not super special. It doesn't have like an X factor like some of the other neighborhoods that we have ranked have. And this is something you need to consider, account for, and decide for your own whether it's really important or not that much important. You should also consider the budget. I feel that in the Lakeline area, you're buying into location. I really strongly and firmly believe that this location will trend because of its proximity to everything, while not compromising on having tiny lots and houses that sit on top of another. What do you think of the Lakeline area, of the ranking? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your opinions and learn from your experience. If you'd like, you can leave us a like as a token of appreciation. It really helps a lot. And if you'd like to learn more about Austin, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one.